On this particular morning, I go to court and I run into an attorney I know. And when I run into this attorney, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't need him to get any blowback from it. And he goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I got a speeding ticket." And he goes, "Let me see it." And I show it to him, and I'm doing like 24 miles, 25 miles over the speed limit. He said, "Give me a minute." He said, "Give me a minute. I'll be right back." So he's gone about 15 minutes, and he comes back, and he said, "You're good to go."
Oh, really?
I said, "What do you mean I'm good to go?" He goes, "I know the prosecutor. We went to law school together."
Oh, man, how nice.
I said, "Well, I appreciate that."
Yeah.
I said, "I'll get you on the next one." He goes, "That's what I told the prosecutor." I said, I told him if he'd let you go on this one, I'd get him on the next one.
And welcome back to another episode of True Stories from a Real Private Eye. I'm your host, Vinnie Coppola. With me, as always, is Lynn Lambdin, a real private investigator right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much for being here. We do so appreciate it. What do you got for us this week, Lynn?
Well, Vinnie, how you doing this week, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. Well, Vinnie, this week I thought we'd talk about my time in court. Not necessarily cases where that I've went and testified. Maybe some that I have testified on, but cases where that I have actually, maybe speeding tickets I've went to court on, or something where I've had to go to court and it turned out that the courts were corrupt.
Yeah.
Seems
to be a running theme with this podcast.
Seems to be a running theme.
Exposing corruption. And man, do we have a lot of it here in Georgia.
Well, Vinnie, it's not, I like to call it the good old boy system.
Yeah. And
that's kind of what it is this time. So I was caught speeding in Sandy Springs. And I was speeding. I have a heavy foot. I'm not going to lie to you. I have a lead foot. I was speeding, and I always go to court when I get caught speeding. I always go to court and try to negotiate it down, or if you can get it below 15 miles an hour in Georgia, they do not report it to your insurance company, or they do not report it to the state. It stays at the local level. And if it doesn't go to the state, then it doesn't count. You get no points for it.
Right.
Therefore, your insurance company doesn't get it, and you get no points, and your insurance doesn't go up. So, on this particular morning, I go to court, and I run into an attorney I know. And when I run into this attorney, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't need him to get any blowback from it. And he goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I got a speeding ticket." And he goes, "Let me see it." And I show it to him, and I'm doing like 24 miles, 25 miles over the speed limit. He said, "Give me a minute." He said, "Give me a minute. I'll be right back." Yeah. So he's gone about 15 minutes, and he comes back, and he said, "You're good to go."
Oh, really?
I said, "What do you mean I'm good to go?" He goes, "I know the prosecutor. We went to law school together."
Oh, man, how nice.
I said, "Well, I appreciate that."
Yeah.
I said, "I'll get you on the next one." He goes, "That's what I told the prosecutor." I said, I told him if he'd let you go on this one, I'd get him on the next one.
Yeah.
I said, "So you're telling me that if he lets me off on this speeding ticket, you'll hang the next guy?" He goes, "Yeah, pretty much."
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well, good for you.
I said, "I appreciate that."
Yeah. Not so good for the next guy, but
not so good for the next guy.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I appreciate that." I said, I appreciate it. I said, "Now, you sure if I leave, I'm not going to get in any trouble?" He goes, "No, it's done. It's over. It's gone." He said, he threw it out. It's gone. I said, "Well, typically when a case is, when a ticket's been dismissed, you have to go in front of the judge, and the judge has to approve it." He said, "Man, it's over." He said, "Leave."
Yeah.
I said, "Now, you're not just pulling my leg." He said, "No." He said, "But I can go back and talk to him if you want me to." I said, "Nope. I'll see you later." Nope.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So and that's just one instance. That's just one instance of where that happens. And this goes on all the time. this is called the good old boy system here in Georgia.
Sure.
So I'm in another court. Let's see, where was this at? I was in I can't remember the court, but I was in court, and
another speeding ticket.
Another speeding ticket.
Okay.
And I'm I'm sitting there waiting on my name to be called, and this prosecutor, when they call your name, you can plead guilty, not guilty, or sidebar with the prosecutor. And basically it's just your arraignment. So I said, I want to speak with the prosecutor. I'll have the sidebar. So this prosecutor's just riding everybody, man. He's not giving any breaks at all. So I go up and and when I become a PI, my the guy that I apprenticed in under become an attorney. So the PI that I did my apprenticeship in under, he later went to school and become an attorney. So I go up and man, this prosecutor's not giving anybody any breaks. So I go up and I sit down, and the prosecutor's sitting there, and he's going, "So what can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, I would like to negotiate this down to get it under 15, under the speed limit, so that I can, no points on my driver's license." And he goes, "Man, you got a lot of speeding tickets here." I said, "Yes, sir. I drive a lot." I said, "I'm on the road a lot." I said, "I'm a private investigator." He goes, "You're a private investigator?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you know so-and-so?" And this was the same attorney that got me off in Sandy Springs.
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "I apprenticed under him." He goes, "He's a good buddy of mine." I said, "He's a good buddy of mine too."
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, "I'll tell you what I'll do." He said, since he's a good buddy of yours, he said, I'm gonna just wipe this out for you.
Oh my goodness.
He said, "I'm gonna write this all the way down to a warning." He said, "But what I'm gonna need for you to do is I'm gonna need you to call him and thank him for this and let him know that I've done this favor for you."
Oh boy.
I said, "That's not a problem." I said, "I can call him right here if you want me to."
Yeah.
He said, "No." He said, "I need you wait till you get outside to call him."
Yeah.
I said, "That's not a problem, buddy." I said, "I'll call him before I get out the door."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, "Well, he said, we got to go in front of the judge." He said, "But we're going to tell the judge that you have no speeding tickets or nothing, and you got a clean record." And he said, "We're going to tell the judge that you need to keep this clean record because of you driving all the time, and you need to keep your insurance low." I said, "Not a problem."
Yeah.
So
Let me see if I get this straight. He's telling you, "Hey, we're going to lie to the judge right now."
Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
So, we sit there and, so basically we work our deal out, and I go back and sit in the pews, and the benches. I guess they're not pews in court.
Right. Right.
And then
they look like them.
Well, they're the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we go, and the only difference is they don't have the little book holders in the back. That's the only difference.
And there's not much praying going on.
No,
in court, although there should be. Yeah.
No, there's more praying going on in court than there is in church.
You're probably right about that. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do a lot of praying.
Yeah, for sure.
So we go up in front of the judge, and he says, "Your Honor, I'm going to reduce this down to a warning." And he says, "Mr. Lambdin has no." He said, and he waves some blank papers in front of him, and he said, "I pulled Mr. Lambdin's driving history. He has no driving history." He says, "Clean." And he says, with your blessing, I'm going to reduce this down to a warning." He said, "Because Mr. Lambdin drives for a living, and he needs to keep a clean driving history." And the judge goes, "Well, we can do that."
Nice.
So they reduced it down just because we knew the same person.
Yeah.
Good old boy system.
So apparently, after he helped you that first time, there was somebody that he hung, or it would have been you this time.
Yeah. So as soon as I got out the door, I called and I said, "Thank you again."
Yeah, thank you again.
Because without your knowledge,
yeah.
And the reason he wanted me to thank him was so that he would return the favor.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
the good old boy system.
It's the good old boy system. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that's not, I mean, this happens all the time.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I mean, I've been working on cases. I've been working on criminal cases, and and would, you know, and I tell the attorney I'm working for, I say, we're stuck on this one. There's no way that we're going to get this evidence into court, and if we do, the other side is going to tear us up on it, and they're going, nah, I know the judge. He's going to help us on this.
Really?
What do you mean he's going to help us on this? Judge is my buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, ain't that a conflict of interest? Well, it should be, but we're not going to tell anybody.
Right.
So now I'm thinking, from now on, when I'm on a case, I've got to look and see if the other side and the judge went to law school together.
Right.
I have to look that up now.
Yeah.
So now that's part of my protocol when I'm working on cases, is I see if the other side knows the judge.
Let me ask you something about judges in criminal court cases. Isn't it true that they are picked randomly? Like, I mean, I saw on a movie once where they actually put the names of the judges into a round bin, they spin it around, and they pull out a name, and this is the judge that's going to handle that case. Is that true? Is there any truth?
No. How a judge is picked in most courts in the Atlanta, in a big market, is there's 10 judges that handle criminal cases. When your case comes up, okay, in Atlanta, for example, in Fulton County,
yeah,
they have boxes with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
For the judges.
Yeah.
So when your case comes up, Judge 1 gets it. When the next case comes up, Judge 2 gets it. When the next Judge 3, next case, Judge 4.
Okay.
That's how they assign the judges.
Okay, so it is kind of random.
It's as random as the day is long.
This episode is brought to you by Simple Funding LLC. For all of your pre-settlement funding needs, contact Simple Funding LLC to receive your money promptly. They're a customer-centric legal funding company that provides exceptional funding solutions at affordable rates. Simple Funding covers a diverse range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, worker compensation, medical malpractice, wrongful death, and more. They recognize that life goes on and you need to access your funds immediately, which is why they offer clients a swift and efficient process with minimal documentation requirements. For more information, visit simplefundingllc.com or contact them directly at 678-855-6232.
Now, does that mean that the judges don't trade cases? No. Now
They do trade cases.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Now I've seen cases come up where that they will be on civil cases, not criminal cases, but civil cases, where that they will be two people in a car in an accident, and they will hire two different attorneys, and the lawsuits will be filed back to back, and they will be signed two different judges.
So two different cases.
Yeah, it'll be two different cases.
Two different. What's it called? Two different it's tried twice.
Yes. So you and I is in a car together. Somebody hits us.
You get an attorney and I get an attorney.
Or we get the same attorney.
Uh-huh.
You and I hire the same attorney.
Okay.
And they file a lawsuit for me and a lawsuit for you.
Right.
And they file it at the same time.
Yeah.
They go to the courthouse, or they anymore. They don't go to the courthouse. They file it electronically.
Right.
But they don't file it together. They don't file us as a plaintiff 1 and plaintiff 2. They file it you, and then they file me, and they file it back to back. And our case numbers is 1 and 2, but we'll have separate judges.
Weird.
No, it's because that when you come in, you get judge
No,
one.
I understand, but I don't know how that's best for the situation.
Well, it's not. It's best. It's not best for the. It's not best for the court, because basically, if they assign my case and your case to the same judge, it's best for getting the cases wrapped up quicker, because only one judge has to learn the case.
Yeah.
And it gets the case through the system quicker, even though there's two trials.
Right.
Now, if they assign it to two separate judges, two judges has to learn it, and it clogs up two courtrooms.
Right. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
instead of one judge learning the case, now two judges have to learn the case.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little screwy.
Yeah. So, to me, I think that signing both of them to the one judge, but but do you want fairness or do you want expedience?
Yeah. Good call. Good question. Yeah.
I myself, I'd rather have fairness. It's like, it's like our criminal system. Do there in our criminal system, there's going to be innocent people convicted at some point, but you're going to have that happen in our system, and we're going to have to weed that out over time, because you can't just throw our system out and say, okay, we can't let all the criminals out because we convicted one wrong person.
Right. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's going to be, somebody's going to be convicted wrongly, but you can't trash our whole system because one person was convicted wrongly.
Right.
That's going to happen. It's like saying, okay, nobody can have a gun because one person was, because Charlie Kirk. I know that. Okay, let's not say that. Let's say it this way. We have gun deaths in this country. We're going to have to tolerate that if we're going to have guns in this country. That you can't take away everybody's gun because you got one bad person with a gun.
Right.
You can't take away my gun because somebody else done something bad with a gun.
Right.
And it's the same thing with our criminal defense system.
Yeah.
You can't punish everybody because you got one wrongdoer.
Yeah, I agree.
You gotta tolerate the little bit of bad you got for all the good that it does.
Yeah, and that's not to say that bad that happens is okay. See, that's where a lot of people are getting that all turned around. Nobody's saying that bad that happened is okay. We're not saying that we should tolerate the bad. We're just saying that bad doesn't make everything bad.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be tolerated. When you catch the bad has to be corrected and punished.
Right.
But you can't throw out all the good that it does because of that one bad.
Right.
Right. That's like you got a bushel basket of apples and one of them is bad. You don't throw the whole bushel basket away.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just thinking that old cliche.
Yeah. You get rid of the one bad apple and you keep the rest of the bushel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's all over the country because human nature is human nature. But we do have a very bad good old boy system in the state of Georgia, and I witness it daily.
Yeah.
Because I call on favors all the time.
Yeah.
In the state of Georgia. I mean, on court clerks, I call on favors. You get to know them, and they do favors for you. I've actually had court clerks. We have a statute. Everybody knows what the statute is. If the statute runs on something, well, I've actually had court clerks run the clock back because I didn't make it to the court on time to stamp in paperwork.
Yeah.
So for example, the statute runs today and it has to be filed in the court by 5 o'clock today. And if it's not, the statute runs and your case is no good.
Yeah.
Well, there was a case where that the statute ran and I didn't make it to the court by 5 o'clock, but I knew the guy at the court and I made friends with him. So I called him and I says, hey, dude, I'm not going to be there by 5 o'clock. Can you help me out? He goes, yeah, come on. We'll run the clock back.
Yeah. Nice.
So he ran the clock back to 3:15 and clocked it in, and I didn't get there till 6:30.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. You've heard it here, folks. Lynn Lambdin taking advantage of the good old boy system.
well,
well, you got to do it, man.
well, I figure, they're going to use it against me.
They use it against all of us.
So why don't I use it against them?
Hey, look, no one's dying. No one's getting hurt. It's not no one's losing money or anything like that. You're not stealing from taxpayers. It's a mere statute readjustment.
There you go.
That's all it is. It's no.
And those are not the only 2 times that I've used the good old boy system to get out of a ticket. I mean, there's been other times that I tell you, this one fell in my favor accidentally. I went to Union City. I got a ticket in Union City. Hate Union City with a passion. Hate it, hate it, hate it. They are a-holes from the word go.
Yeah. And
I asked the guy, I said, can you negotiate this down for me? And I was only doing like 21 miles over the speed limit. I said, can you negotiate this down to 14 so that it don't go on my driver's license? Nope, not going to do it. I said, can you negotiate? Just come and give me a break. Not going to do it. I said, man, just help me out a little bit. Nope, not going to do it. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I'm going to plead not guilty. And he said, okay. He said, but I can tell you this right now. You go downtown and I'm going to call my buddy in Fulton County and tell them to stick it to you. He goes, because I know the prosecutor downtown and she's going to stick it to you. I said, I'll take my chances downtown. Yeah. Because I know people downtown too.
Yeah. You told him that?
No. I wasn't going to show my hand.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, that doesn't sound like you.
No, I'm not going to show my hand. I said, okay, you just do what you got to do, buddy. I said, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So I left and I didn't think anything about it because I wasn't going to show my hand before my court date.
Right.
I wasn't going to call my contacts before my court date. See, I know a lot of people downtown because a lot of the attorneys that I work for and work with now used to be prosecutors downtown.
Right.
And they know everybody downtown. So I was going to call them and ask them to call in for favors for me.
Yeah.
So, so I got a letter in the mail and it said Fulton County State Court. And I said, okay, here we go. So I said, I'll find out when my court date is and I'll have to call in my favors. And I opened it up and it said, if you donate $75 to the Atlanta Food Bank, we'll drop your ticket.
Ah. Yeah.
So I donated $75 to the Atlanta Food Bank and they dropped my ticket.
Yeah, because you would have paid way more if, yeah.
Yep. So you know what I did?
What?
When they dropped my ticket and I got my dismissal in the mail, I made a copy of it and I sent it to, I mailed a copy to Union City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
See what happened, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted him to know that Atlanta wasn't as tough as he thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
All these favors that he wanted to call into Atlanta to Fulton County and have me strung up by my toes just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, this he just wasn't the badass he thought he was.
He probably didn't know anybody. He was just trying to scare you.
Yeah, he was just trying to bluff me.
Yeah, he was trying to bluff you and you didn't take it.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
probably he was probably fuming when you walked out of that. "Ugh." Yeah, he didn't fall for it, you know.
well, I
Yeah.
hope he was fuming when he got my
Oh, for
dismissal.
sure. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. He went through the roof.
But I did think that it was very honorable of Fulton County that it said Atlanta Food Bank's donation was way down, and they were struggling to feed the homeless, and they were doing this one-time thing to help the Atlanta Food Bank, and it was only going to non-violent, um, um, like speeders and jaywalkers and things like that, and
Yeah,
it
that's
was
a
just,
deal, man. I would have taken that deal.
and so I listen. I did it that day. I didn't even wait. I didn't even have to think about it. I did it that day.
Heck yeah.
I
I would have
called the
taken it.
Atlanta Food Bank, made my donation, and showed them, because you do it right online, and they send you they had a special line set up, and that you get the receipt, show it, give it to the court, and they dismiss it right there on the spot.
This episode is brought to you by the Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates, voted the best law firm by the American Institute of Trial Lawyers. When life hits you hard with a serious injury, don't let insurance companies hit you harder with lowball offers and endless runaround. You deserve justice. You deserve compensation. You deserve to win. The Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates have a high-powered legal team with a nationwide reach and the highest rating on the National Attorney Rating Service. Trial Magazine calls them one of the most influential law firms in America. They win big. Big results at trial court, appeals court, the state Supreme Court, and are recognized as award-winning litigators of the year. The Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates handle everything so you can heal. Don't face this battle alone. The aftermath of an accident is traumatic enough. Medical bills pile up, pain overwhelms, emotions run high, and that's where they step in to shoulder the legal fight while you focus on what truly matters, your recovery. They are the first law firm to offer a bigger settlement guarantee. If they can't beat the amount of your current settlement with a bigger settlement offer, your legal fees are free. Ready to win your case? Find out in one phone call if you have a case and how much your case is really worth. Call the Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates today at 1-888-477-0597 or visit them online at becauseyouwanttowin.com.
But Vinny, I'll tell you something that I shouldn't reveal, especially on a podcast for the world to see.
Right.
But at last count, at the last speeding trial I went to,
Yeah.
the prosecutor said, "How in the hell do you have 52 speeding tickets?"
Oh my God. 52.
Yeah, you know what I told him?
What?
I said, "That's the ones I didn't get out of."
Yeah. That's the ones I didn't get out of. Holy cow, bro. You weren't lying when you said you had a lead foot.
Yeah, but see, I've been driving since I was 16 years old.
Yeah, well, me too. But
And that goes all the way back to I was 16 years old. And I have driven for 30 years. I have driven, well, not quite the whole 30 years, but about 20 of those 30 years, I drove about 120 to 140,000 miles a year.
yeah.
So when you average that many miles a year for
Yeah.
that many years, that many speeding tickets is really not that many.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, when you average it out, you take somebody else that's got 5 speeding tickets, it's only driven 12,000 miles a year. It averages out to about the same per mile.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even at my height, bro, at my height of doing stand-up, traveling full-time, I think the most I ever put on my car in a year was like 45,000.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because you got to you have to, I mean, you take into account most, it's like an hour or two away, 2 or 3 hours away, when I'm there for a week, it's not like I'm driving all over the place,
Yeah, you're right.
and then you take in air flights, yeah, I think the most I ever put on my car in a year was 45,000. And that was at the height of my full-time stand-up
Yeah.
foray. So you doing 120, 140,000 miles a year, that's a lot of miles in my opinion.
Yeah, I was doing. I think the most I ever put on my car was like 140,000 miles in 1 year.
100,000 more than me. Wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was wearing them out, Vinny. That one time I was wearing a car out it'd take me about a year and a half, and I'd have to get a new car. About a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah. 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 You went through the warranty in a couple of months.
Well, I wasn't buying new cars. I'd buy used cars. I
Oh,
couldn't.
okay.
There's no way that could afford a new car and do that to it. What I was doing is I was buying. I figured out by accident that if I bought a Jeep Grand Cherokee with a V8 in it,
Yeah.
I could get about 400,000 miles out of it.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so I was putting about 400,000 miles on them, with minimal mechanic work on them.
Yeah. So they're reliable, huh?
They were very reliable. Those V8s and those Jeep Grand Cherokees,
Okay.
and they were very reliable. And but once you got up to about 350, 400,000, the heater cores would drop out of them.
Really?
Yeah, so you'd have to put a heater core in them. So at that point, because everything else would start wearing out bad. You'd still have to put a lot of money in them. So I'd just go find me one with 70, 80,000 miles on it. And you could get one back in those days with 70, 80,000 miles on it for $6 or $7 grand.
Really?
Yeah, somewhere between 8 and 12 grand. And I just go buy me a new one or a new used one.
Yeah.
And just wear it out.
Nice.
And as long as you kept it in line and rotated your tires, you could get your max out of your tires. And I would buy nice tires that you could get 50, 60,000 miles out of, and I'd just wear them out. I was buying 2 sets of tires a year, two and a half set of tires a year.
Yeah.
And man, I was talking about oil changes. I was changing my oil at least once a month. Once about every 4 to 6 weeks, I just have to change my oil.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the key, man. Changing the oil.
Yep. I was going through, man, you wouldn't believe. I changed my oil myself because it was still a lot cheaper that way.
Yeah.
And I would have so many oil cans. What I'd do is I would change the oil, keep the old oil jugs, and then put the old oil back in them. And I'd have so many lined up, and then ever so often I would take them and recycle that oil. And man, I was just going through so much oil at the time. It was just unbelievable. I mean, it was just. But when you're putting that many miles on your car, I mean, you're and I was changing the oil every 5,000 to 7,000 miles.
You're gonna get tickets.
Yeah, you're going to get tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a numbers game, man.
It's a numbers game. Yeah.
Yeah. The more you drive,
the
more chances you have at getting that ticket. Yep.
Yeah, and you also have to understand that when the courts pull your driving history, they can see a ticket whether you were found guilty or not.
Yeah.
So they see every ticket you got. Just because I got 52 tickets doesn't mean that I paid for all those tickets.
Right.
They see every ticket you have. Right. So out of 52 tickets, I probably only paid for half of those.
Right.
I beat half of them.
Yeah.
Or at least negotiated half of them down to under 15 to the speed limit.
Yeah, good.
But you'll be happy to know that as we sit here today, I haven't had a speeding ticket in 3 years.
Wow. Nice.
So, because my insurance agent just told me my insurance just dropped dramatically a couple months ago, and he told me that my last speeding ticket just dropped off.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, even Lynn Lambdin can change.
That's right.
Going from being a leadfoot to being a respectable driver.
But the reason is that I don't drive anymore. I don't drive as much anymore. I drive very little anymore because I have other people doing the field work. I just I do the office work now.
Yeah. Plus, it's probably a lot easier to do some of the research that you used to do because you can do it on the computer now. It's all online and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So most of my research is on the computer now instead of going from courthouse to courthouse to courthouse.
Right. Yeah.
And you got to remember that if I do a criminal background search on someone and I would have to go to 5 different courthouses, And you see, in the state of Georgia, we've got like 138 counties. And if you have to go to 5 different counties, it's a lot of driving. So, I might drive to 5 different counties to do courthouse searches, to pull criminal records, or just to do courthouse searches. So if I'm doing a background search on Vinnie and I find out that Vinnie's lived in 5 different counties over the last 10 years, and I know that Vinnie is a habitual violator of DUIs, I've got to find all those DUIs.
Yeah.
And a habitual violator in the state of Georgia is 3 or more.
Right.
So I've got to go find those DUIs. So if I know that he's lived in 5 different counties, now I've got to go search those 5 different counties until I find those DUIs.
Yeah.
So that's why the driving was so much. But today you do all that on the computer, and it's so much easier. So once I find those 5 DUI or those 3 DUIs, I just go to those 3 counties and just get certified copies.
Right.
So much easier.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Less driving.
A lot less driving. And I also, now I don't go do the driving. I just tell one of my guys to go pick them up.
And that's convenient too.
And that's convenient too.
Having some guys working for you, for
keeps
sure.
Keeps me off the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try not to leave Roswell.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why? It's stuck in traffic.
Oh yeah, Vinnie, I've sat in traffic so much.
Yeah.
I've sat in traffic for hours on end. I'm so glad I don't have to sit in traffic anymore.
Yeah.
It's just technology is a wonderful thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I lived in Los Angeles, man, that was a daily occurrence for me, sitting in traffic for at least an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was here too. I mean,
but here there's like a window that if you get out before or after the window of traffic, you can pretty much avoid it. It's not 24/7 traffic.
Yeah.
Like the 405 in Los Angeles, if it's not 1 o'clock in the morning or after, between 1 and 5 in the morning, you're in traffic, bro.
Really?
Yeah, you're in bumper to bumper traffic on the 405 in Los Angeles.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And Thanksgiving week. Have you ever seen the pictures of the 405? Oh my God. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Just that many people, huh?
Just that many people all using the same stretch of highway.
Yeah. Well,
but it's not just the 405. I mean, holy cow. I mean, almost all the highways. And I mean, like I said, here in Atlanta here in Atlanta, not so much anywhere else in Georgia, but here in Atlanta, there's like a window where you can get out before it and pretty much avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to avoid it at all costs. You're right. I try not to, if I have to go, I still go out and do a lot of investigations. Especially if it's a wrongful death or something of the nature. I try to go do all those investigations. I try to do it around the traffic times. I try to miss the traffic.
Absolutely.
If it's a very important witness or something of the nature. I'm working on a DUI case right now, DUI drugs, where the guy was drunk on drugs and is driving a commercial vehicle. So I'm doing all that investigation because it's a very important case, $1 million policy, and we're probably going to get about $500,000 on the case.
Nice.
And so I'm doing all those investigations. I can't afford for somebody to slip up and make a mistake.
Is that one where that we'll probably hear about on this podcast once it's over?
We might. It's kind of the way the accident happened is kind of funny.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a pretty decent case.
Okay.
We'll talk about it when the case is closed.
Okay. All right. Well,
I got some pretty decent DUI stories we'll talk about.
Okay.
That's already closed. Their DUI cases are kind of. I got a DUI case we'll talk about here out of Roswell. We may talk about that DUI case next week. Let me write that down.
Okay.
because it's a very funny case.
Something to look forward to. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here. If you like stand-up comedy and goofball videos, check me out online, www.vinnie.com. That's VINNIE.com. All the links to my social media are there. Got a couple of funny videos on my website. If you have to find somebody, surveil somebody, serve somebody papers, Lynn Lambdin is the best, ladies and gentlemen. Tell them your website.
LWIAS.com. That's LWIAS.com.
Thank you so much, Simple Funding, for sponsoring this episode. And thank you, Monge and Associates, for sponsoring this episode. If you are in an accident and you are injured due to somebody's negligence, give them a call and let them know you heard about them on this podcast.
BecauseYouWantToWin.com.
Yes, exactly. BecauseYouWantToWin.com. Thank you so much for being here.
And hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely. If you haven't, please subscribe to the podcast. And if you're feeling saucy, leave us a comment or a review. We would appreciate it. We'll see you next week.